Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Terry Jackson. I'm here with my colleague, Dr. Tara Courchaine, and we're both from the U.S. Department of Education in the Office of Special Education Programs. So we're excited for this opportunity to share with all of you some of the work that we're doing here in technology to address the needs of children with disabilities. And specifically, an opportunity to share our insights from what we know, what we see as promising, and what we believe that needs to be studied further. First, I want to be able to share with you a little bit of information about OSEP. OSEP consists of two divisions: the Monitoring State Improvement Program, which supports $12 billion in formula grants. It's called MSIP, and they carry out major activities related to Part B and Part C of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act and 619 formula grant programs. The other program which Tara and I work is Research to Practice, that supports $250 million of Part B IDEA discretionary funds across 6 program areas. The 6 program areas include the Personnel Development Program, which funds IHEs to support and prepare student scholars in obtaining a master's or PhD in the field of special education. Technical Assistance and Dissemination, which funds large technical assistance centers to work together as a network to generate and bring information, knowledge, and support to those who need it, including state and local education agencies, practitioners, parents, families, and policymakers. The third program is our state personnel development grants. These grants help state education agencies to reform and improve their systems for personnel preparation and professional development of individuals providing early intervention, educational, and transition services to improve the results for children with disabilities. Next is our Parent Training and Information Center. This program supports parent organizations as defined in IDEA for providing training needs to parents and children with disabilities living in areas served by these centers, and particularly in underserved areas. Our next program is the Educational Technology Media Materials. That's the program that I lead. We support SEAs, LEAs, IHEs, and other stakeholders in leveraging the potential benefits of existing, emerging, innovative technologies. We also support research on the implementation and integration of technology to improve outcomes for students with disabilities, and technical assistance activities to enhance the use and delivery of high quality, accessible educational materials and media to students, parents, and teachers. Our 6th program is our data program. Our data programs build the capacity of states to meet the IDEA data collection and reporting requirements, including those in Section 616 and 618 of IDEA. So next, I'm going to turn it over to Tara, who's going to talk about a few of the programs that we support.
Great. Thanks so much, Terry. The first program I want to talk about is Bookshare, which at OSEP is called Benetech Unlocks Individualized Learning Delivery Project Build. Bookshare has been funded by the department for almost 15 years. They're an accessible media producer, and they provide a free online library where eligible end users can download books and other educational materials in an accessible format, such as text-to-speech, refreshable braille, or audio that they require. To improve the quality, timeliness, and ease of access to accessible educational materials for eligible users. And eligible users are defined as students who are blind, visually impaired, have a reading or perceptual disability that cannot be improved to give visual function substantially equivalent to that of a person who has no such impairment, or is otherwise unable through physical disability to hold or manipulate a book or focus or move the eyes to the extent that would be normally acceptable for reading. They provide targeted TA to SEAs, LEAs, teachers, parents, individual students in both K-12 and post-secondary to sign up and use Bookshare. Bookshare has both organizational and individual accounts. And then last, they collaborate with publishers regarding EPUB accessibility and Born Accessible. They further support this effort by providing third-party accessibility verification. The second program I wanted to talk about is called our Described Caption and Media Program, DCMP. DCMP manages and maintains a free access portal as a repository to distribute accessible educational television and media. That could include programming, media, video, and digital materials. The Television Access Project for Students with Sensory Disabilities, which includes blindness and visual impairment, deafness, hearing impairment, and deafblindness, and their families. They also oversee the selection, acquisition, captioning, and audio description, and they provide direct supports like webinars and e-learning modules to students, parents, families, administrators, and paraprofessionals.
Thanks, Tara. So two other programs that are projects that we support here in OSEP are Stepping Up Technology implementation projects. For almost 10 years, OSEP has supported 33 Stepping Up Technology implementation projects to implement innovative evidence-based technologies to support educators to improve child and student outcomes. These projects work directly in the early childhood programs in K through 12 classroom settings, providing the professional development and the coaching to educators, students, and families to improve outcomes. Some of the technologies that we have supported, including literacy to improve outcomes for students with disabilities, science and math, college and career readiness, students with complex communication needs, student engagement and dropout prevention, virtual reality, progress monitoring, socially assistive robotics, and professional development for teacher in-service, to name a few. Another project that we support that we first started in 2020 is the National Center to Improve Faculty Capacity to Use Educational Technology in Special Education. This center is called the Center for Innovation, Design, and Digital Learning, and they're housed at the University of Kansas. This project is tasked with increasing the capacity of faculty at institutions of higher ed to use a range of educational technologies in educational leadership preparation programs. So what do we know? We know that the pandemic has highlighted the ever-widening gaps and exacerbated the learning needs of not only those students with disabilities, but those at risk for disabilities. We know that there's a growing need for technology that is accessible, such as text-to-speech, highlighted, captioned, and described. Technology that is universally designed for learning, which is a strategy for teaching and learning that helps give all students an equal opportunity to succeed and offers flexibility in the way students access materials, engage with it, and demonstrate what they know, as well as technology that is motivating and engaging, creating an excitement for learning, thereby holding a child's attention. OSEP has an annual technology program budget of $28 million to fund centers that directly support states, families, and students, so they have access to accessible educational materials and broadcast programming that is captioned and described. We also know that parents, families, and students as well, not only need to be part of the conversation moving forward, but they also need to be part of the solution. OSEP supports our regional parent technical assistance centers and community parent resource centers to address these needs.
Thanks, Terry. So now I'm going to talk about what's promising. One of the first things is working collaboratively. When publishers and technology developers work together to create accessible content from the onset, which is known as Born Accessible. Some of the larger corporations such as Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Apple have started building features into their technologies, which make them more accessible for all users. An example of that is how Siri, Alexa, and Google Home allow those who are blind and visually impaired to navigate their environments more easily. Also, publishers, particularly in higher education, are creating books and textbooks that include accessibility features that allow them to work with screen readers and other assistive technology supports. Next is using accessibility features. When accessibility is embedded within technology to teach, all students benefit regardless of their learning ability. Accessibility has many unplanned benefits, similar to the benefits of curb cuts and ramps. It also provides access to those with situational disabilities, such as a broken bone, captioning on the TVs in the gym, or when you're driving and need to listen to read your book. In classrooms, it can provide students who are at risk with options and features like text-to-speech that can support their comprehension and overall achievement, even though they don't require it as an assistive technology. Next is ensuring that educational materials and the systems they're used on are accessible so that students have more ways to engage in and respond to their learning. A digital educational material is only as good as the device it's used on. Devices and learning management systems, which have become critical during the pandemic, need to have the functionality to allow accessibility features to work. For example, a document that is set up correctly with correct navigation, a table of contents, page numbers, etc., will only work with a screen reader if the system has the capability. And last, being flexible. The pandemic has highlighted the needs and gaps of our educational systems, prompting states, districts, schools, administrators, and educators to quickly pivot in order to meet the immediate needs of students, including those with disabilities. The role of technology in education has quickly moved to the forefront. Accessibility became important in a way that it wasn't before. Schools and districts that shifted to one-to-one devices for students provided a way for more students to benefit from technology and accessibility features like text-to-speech and captioning that were limited before.
Thanks, Sarah. So what needs to be examined further? Well, we do know that the pandemic has highlighted the difficulty for educators to create classroom learning in an online environment. This requires a different set of skills and approaches to student learning. So supporting educators for how to teach more effectively with technology, regardless if they're remote, face-to-face, or in a hybrid situation. Also improving teacher preparation programs like ATGs, so that future educators are readily equipped to effectively use technology to deliver instruction, and so that graduates can feel confident and prepared as they move into the classrooms of the future.
Great, thanks, Terry. Also, we know that designing for those on the edges can help us better meet the needs of all students to help mitigate later unintended consequences. Designing for those on the edges means considering what users with the most intensive needs would need to access the technology successfully. The unintended benefit is that others may benefit from the same feature, even though for them it's a convenience rather than a necessity. We still need to learn more about what artificial intelligence can do to adapt instruction to respond to an individual student's input. AI has come so far, but there is still a lot that requires human remediation. And there will always still be an unknown. The COVID-19 pandemic is a good example, so we will need to be prepared to pivot. And then considering what technology looks like in a multi-tiered system of supports. We need to be more proactive, ensuring that technology meets the need of all students. Technology should be able to move with students through the tiers of instruction. Accessible technology may be helpful as a preference at Tier 1, but may be a necessary accommodation in the IEP at Tier 3. We need to learn more about how to fluidly support the differentiated needs of all students. And last, research is showing that a tool like text-to-speech available during instruction, students may still benefit from it even if they cannot use it during testing. More research needs to be done in this area to help us better understand how universal design and universal supports can benefit all students, even those, including those with or at risk for disabilities.
So thank you again for the opportunity for Tara and myself to share with all of you the work of OSEP and what we're accomplishing in our technology program and providing our insights to help with reimagining possibilities together and kickstart brainstorming. Thank you.